In a past video, I brought up that I wanted to talk about Taskmaster. So here we are. What? You were expecting some sort of intro or funny skit to start the video? No. I can't do a funny intro when I have such a massive elephant in the room hanging over my head like the sword of Damocles. Let's get this out of the way. Let's talk about MCU Taskmaster. Wait, don't click off. I swear this won't be some massive rant about the MCU from a comic book lover. The two main complaints about MCU Taskmaster are that they made him some random woman and that his personality was gone. I didn't really even watch Black Widow just because I knew they butchered my boy. The baffling thing is that both of these problems could have been solved by switching Taskmaster in the movie for his daughter in the comics, Finesse. Finesse has Taskmaster's power set and has a personality that is roughly as enjoyable as scrolling through Twitter with a paper cut on your finger and your phone is covered in orange juice. So, yeah, this would have solved maybe not every, but at least most of the problems with Taskmaster. Think about it. Comic book nerds would still have come to see a recognizable IP. People would be angry if you messed up because Finesse is less well known than Taskmaster. And you could save Taskmaster in your back pocket, waiting for some rainy day when you're really feeling your oats to whip him out and do him justice. There is one thing I see people say about Taskmaster. The one argument I see for the MCU Taskmaster is that they had to write them like this to give a personal connection to Taskmaster where there really isn't one in the comics by making her a sympathetic character. Okay, no one has ever made that argument, but can it really be called a straw man fallacy when there is no opposition? Back to what I was saying. I guess the argument of wanting a sympathetic character is accurate. Surely Taskmaster isn't hiding some tragic backstory that makes Uncle Ben's death look like clown college. Right? Well, maybe if we look through Taskmaster's comic book portfolio, we'll get the answer. Taskmaster is a rather infamous mercenary in Marvel Comics. Under the pseudonym of Taskmaster, Tony Masters, yes, that is his real name, has worked for pretty much every non-multiverse ending threat in Marvel Comics. Taskmaster is a businessman through and through. His loyalty runs only as deep as the price of the job. His only real loyalty is to his partner and fellow powerhouse of comedy, Black Ant. His ability is the mimicking of his opponent's fighting style. His ability is only strengthened by his countless years of experience, because through all the battles he has both been in and seen, he has gained many, many, many fighting styles. Working under Hydra and Kingpin, he has gone head-to-head with almost every almost human superhero. You know what I mean? Like, he's not fighting Hulk, but like Captain America and Hawkeye, even superheroes who are less well-known nowadays, like Swordmaster. The only two people he seemingly doesn't want to fight are Black Widow, probably even more so now that she has a Venom symbiote, and Moon Knight. Okay, that one's fair. So far there's nothing that would make Taskmaster a sympathetic villain. Maybe his interaction with his daughter will shine some light on his tragic past. Let's see, he beats up Finesse before saying he's not even sure if she is his daughter and that he has memory problems from his super serum. I guess having memory problems is pretty sad, but I'm pretty sure that anyone would have memory problems if they experienced that much head trauma. I'm surprised he doesn't have more. I'm sure those memory issues won't lead to a backstory more messed up than Tigra's. Actually, I'm stopping myself because Tigra has literally the most messed up backstory in all of Marvel. I could make a top 10 video of just most messed up things that's happened to her. And I would be leaving some out. Well, let's see if this memory stuff is expanded on in his solo comic, Rubicon Trigger. Okay, in Rubicon Trigger, he goes around the world working for S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're blackmailing him, and he beats up Hyperion. He beats up Hyperion? Yeah, he beats up Hyperion. It's a very cool comic, but it doesn't give him that tragic edge that MCU Taskmaster totally has. You gotta believe me, guys. Definitely a tragic character. Well, I guess that's it. MCU Taskmaster is just better than the one in the comics. Oh wait, there is one more comic with Taskmaster that I was forgetting. Taskmaster Unthinkable by Fred Van Lente. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. We get to see Taskmaster's backstory in this comic, and oh boy, is it a backstory. But it's also such a wild ride that I'm just going to have to sit down and give you the rundown of this amazing work of literature. It starts with a man who doesn't remember who he is sitting down in a diner. It's the waiter for the recipe to the dish he is eating, as it brings back memories of the time he was in the diner and got jumped by some random woman, who astute comic book readers will recognize very, very quickly as Elektra, because, yeah, it's Elektra. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Cool. Then a bunch of goons from different groups of villains appear. The man who doesn't remember anything is approached by some Hydra goons who give him his Taskmaster uniform. One of the goons tries to reminisce Master about the days when he was trained by Taskmaster. He idolized Taskmaster, seeing it as this symbol of, being really cool. And he is. But sadly for this goon, he only gets shut down by Taskmaster, who tells him that he doesn't even remember him, or anybody. They try to attack Taskmaster, who at this point is in uniform and begins to wreck them. Like, not even close. In the next issue, he talks about what it's like to be Taskmaster. He discusses standing in the middle of a city with no memory of what he is doing there, or even of who he is. He is forced to live entirely on muscle memory. He instinctively knows to go up to a payphone. From there, he gets his next assignment, his next hit. At this point, you can see how Taskmaster's mind has been entirely broken. He is forced to walk around in a figurative mask before putting on his literal mask. People walk up to him and greet him, yet he never actually knows who they are. He has been forced to master meaningless conversation, a man made of empty platitudes. He is still traveling with the waiter from the first issue, and after fighting some, what I can only describe as a group of Dia de los Muertos rock mobsters, he eventually travels to this, let's say, German nationalist base. I like monetization. To see the true backstory of Tony Masters. Tony Masters once worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, S.H.I.E.L.D. as in the organization that is fundamentally opposed to Hydra, which we usually see Taskmaster working for. S.H.I.E.L.D. raided this base. In this base was a chemical that allowed for extreme memorization, but the scientist who worked on it was dying, and the formula for it was going up in flames as this base was burning down. In order to preserve it, Tony injected himself with it. This was the serum that allowed him to mimic others at the cost of overriding his memories. At this point in the comic, Tony is being hunted by Red Shirt the Uber Henchman, leader of the Minions International Liberation Front. Figure out what acronym they use. Yes, those are real plot points in a real comic, and I love it so much. Back to Taskmaster. He realizes that the waiter he has been traveling with was the voice on the phone that was giving him his jobs, so he shoots her. Doesn't kill her, though. It's at that point that she reveals that she was Taskmaster's wife. As they fight alongside each other against the Minions International Liberation Front, Tony begins to remember his time with his wife. He remembers his first date. He remembers their wedding and the music that played at it. It's a very sweet moment. Then Red Shirt attacks, and he is just... he's trashing Taskmaster. Because Taskmaster refuses to overwrite more of his memories by mimicking Red Shirt out of fear of forgetting his wife, and he even says that much. He says that he doesn't want to forget her again. But Red Shirt tries to attack his wife, and in order to keep him safe, he overwrites his memory, forgetting his wife in the process. The comic ends with his wife crying as she gives the man she loves another hit, knowing that she has been forgotten. Taskmaster will never be the main villain of anything, not because he isn't strong enough, but because he can't. He is a husk of a man, driven only by instinct. Everything he knows, he forgets. He only remembers how hollow he is. He is a nobody, an empty vessel filled with fighting techniques and instincts, purely to be used by those who are in power. Imagine, for a moment, if we had gotten that Taskmaster in the MCU. Imagine the interesting conversations he could have had with so many of the characters. Imagine what could have been. I mean, hell, I would have taken Red Widow in the Black Widow movie. That would have been cool. But she doesn't really have anything to do with Taskmaster. I might talk about her sometime, eventually. Leave a comment of what you want to see me talk about next. This was a bit of a shorter video, so thank you for watching. Like, sub, all the rest. My next video will probably be either a deep dive into the comic book character Thor, or I'll finally come around to typing up that script for the Andreas deep dive that has taken me probably an unhealthy amount of time to actually think about what I'm going to write. Anyway, thank you all. Peace.